Hey everyone, welcome from the depths. I'm Menti, and this is episode 38 of the Frigate-Fracas tournament. This episode, we've got the I Sunk Your Frigate-inator going up against the Black Pudding. Without further ado, let's get this battle underway. Frigate-inator better get moving, because that first volley of crams... Oh, you're not moving very much, Frigate-inator. Ow, 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 ow. Oh wow, Frigate-inator is having buoyancy issues already just from taking a volley of crams, and here comes volley number 2. And there goes altitude shells screwing you over again. That's why I don't like altitude fuses, or at least not set that low. You gotta set them to like -10 or something so they don't detonate before they reach the target. Wow, Frigate-inator is already... Oh. Already, almost capsizing, almost sinking. It is barely afloat after just like 2 cram volleys. Not nearly fat enough. Fast enough. Okay. I wonder if that overpenned through the bottom. Yep, it does look like it can overpen. But not always. The Frigate-inator assumes the position. Yeah, pretty much. But hey, the torpedoes reach the target faster now. This... Yeah, seriously, are those altitude fuses set to like 2 meters or something? If they don't skip off the water, they like instantly detonate. That's way too shallow an altitude fuse. Ooh, that just went into the top of the APS turret. That's a kaboom. Or that's a paddle, as Brisby says. Oh hey, but the loss of that turret is letting the Frigate-inator roll back over. -3? Yeah, that's way too shallow. See, look at all those shells that are detonating early because they didn't reach the target. Or because they get to -3 before they reach the target, I mean. You know what I mean. I usually do -10 for mine. If I use altitude fuse at all. Which that's actually a concern these days since fuses take away 10% of the shell's HP and Sea-Wiz can target crams now. Oof, the Frigate-inator is just all kinds of chewed up. Yeah, I know how it's spelled. But it's easier to pronounce that way. Kuis? Nah, Sea-Wiz. Yeah, Frigate-inator is not doing well. all that block confetti. Looks like the Frigate-inator is going to survive, though. Yep. So, Frigate-inator gets out with a 50.2, Black Pudding 92.1. And here we go for round 2. Frigate-inator, you really need to get out from under those crams, man. You can't just let them hit you. You let them hit you. The turret survived, though, so, I mean, that's impressive. But, yeah, the shell even has enough muzzle velocity left to still reach the target. And it's a remember correctly, it's a chemical shell of some kind. I just don't remember what kind. So it doesn't really care that much about velocity. Or is it kinetic? I think it's actually a kinetic, and I'm misremembering. Ooh, I think, yep, the turret didn't survive that one. That volley blew the turret out. This cram cannon has a damaged barrel, though. To the yellow lifeboats. Yeah, pretty much. Well, there's still one intact lifeboat. The APS guns on the Pudding are, they're a direct input anti-missile system that like switches over to HESH shells if it doesn't detect any missiles for a while, if I remember right. Yeah, see, they're popping the torpedoes. You're not wrong, Mitch. That lifeboat is no longer there. Frigate-inator is a bit dead in the water now. Yep, pretty much, Frisbee. Oof. Those cram shells are brutal. Better off trying to find a door to float away on. CT257 Bolt, thanks for hosting me, man. I'm doing well. How about yourself? Just watching this ship get absolutely torn apart by cram shells. Just all that confetti. It's possible the Frigate-inator might not survive this round. It's really going to depend on this next volley. But there are those altitude fuses just working against it again. Assorted bits and pieces. You're not wrong. It barely survived that round. 39.8 to 96.8. That was an even more dominant round than round one. And here we go into round two, or round three, I mean. Frigate-inator's still going to take those hits. I get out from under some of them. And the ones that did hit, oof. Dug kind of deep into that armor, but I don't think actually got to the APS gun, so. Yeah, no, that is a kinetic round. See how it just punched through that deck like that? Ooh, and clamshells away. Damage to the bow, but nothing too major there. I mean, other than the just immense amount of blocks that were blown off, nothing critical was done anyway. Frag and HE warheads for flak. I mean, there are, you know, just flak rounds in APS. Even the torpedoes on the black pudding put a pretty solid dent the Frigate-inator's armor. I mean, the outer layer is just like wood, so. Frigate-inator taking a hefty beating to its center portion here. Got that heavy listing going on again. I wonder, is it really, like, is the barrel of this gun really that heavy that it makes the ship list like that? Because whenever the gun gets destroyed, it doesn't list. Well, Iron will be happy to see that his extremely cheap anti-missile cannons here are actually performing their job. Granted, against torpedoes that are in the air. I'm not a huge fan of that, Maxwell, because, like, how do you draw the lines between what is a redesign of a campaign craft and what is a new craft? You know? That's really difficult to make hard objective rulings on. Yeah, the Frigate-inator's main gun, it packs a pretty good kinetic punch at a good rate of fire. But kinetics don't do great against large objects, because they can't find those critical things to destroy as easily. I mean, it's certainly an interesting idea, and it would be fun to watch if it worked, Max. It's just getting it to work would... Yeah, like Mitch says, it's a bit messy. 74.9 for the Frigate-inator, and 89.5 for the Black Pudding. Yeah, and back then, Brisby, there was a tool you could use to compare the original blueprint to a... like, you could compare two blueprints and see how like, the percentage difference between them. But that tool has long since been out of date and doesn't work anymore. So yeah, it'd be kind of painful. Anyway, they didn't get... Well, it was never in the game, Brisby. It was a third-party thing, and the person who was doing it, I don't remember who, just stopped updating it. And when they made changes to how the game works, it broke the tool. That's entirely possible, Titan. But anyway, that'll be it for this episode, folks. Black Pudding had a pretty dominant showing in this round, with a combat score of 55 for the Frigate-inator to 92.8 for the Black Pudding. So yeah, pretty rough. But anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the battlefield.